December 2nd, 1993. A rooftop in Medellín. A man, barefoot, running. The final moments of a legend. A monster, Pablo Escobar. He began in poverty, stole what he needed. He saw the law, not as a barrier, but a price tag. He bought the police, owned the officials. His empire, cocaine. His profit, $60 million. Every single day. Cash buried in jungles, eaten by rats. He built homes for the poor. They called him Robin Hood. He was a butcher. He bombed planes from the sky, destroyed the Supreme Court. He declared war on his own country, on America, and for years, unbelievably, he won. The man who humbled an entire government, until a secret, a betrayal, a phone call, a barefoot fugitive, surrounded, trapped, one last shot. The world watched him fall. But the nightmare, it was just beginning. He was born into poverty, in the slums of Medellín, a boy with no future. But he saw something others missed. The law was broken. The system was for sale. He started small, stealing cars, robbing graves. Then he bought his first police officer. Then another. He recorded their bribes. He built a network of corruption, a web of control. Then came the white powder, cocaine, a revelation. He saw the profit, 100 times more valuable in America. He eliminated rivals, took their roots. He didn't just deal drugs. He built an empire, a global corporation of crime. He owned airplanes, secret runways, hidden warehouses, ports that moved tons. He charged other gangs for passage. His wealth became obscene. $60 million a day, mountains of cash. So much, it was weighed, not counted. Hundreds of millions buried across Colombia. Billions lost to damp earth, to rats. He built homes for the poor, football pitches, schools, a twisted Robin Hood, a hero to the people he manipulated, a shield against justice, a source of informants, a brutal killer beneath the veneer. Then he sought power openly. He became a congressman. He challenged the state itself. When a justice minister exposed him, Escobar responded with machine guns. The minister was executed. That was the line. That's when the United States government truly entered the fight. Escobar escalated. He declared war, a terror campaign. He bombed Avianca Flight 103, killing 107 innocents. He attacked the Supreme Court, killing 11 judges. He assassinated presidential candidates, bombing streets, murdering police at random. A death lottery across Colombia. A nation paralyzed by fear. By one man. He didn't just fight the government. He seemed to defeat it. Green light, blue shadows. Poverty was his first lesson. Crime, his earliest craft. Pablo Escobar. He stole gravestones. He boosted cars. He ran protection. He learned the system wasn't to be avoided. It was to be owned. He recorded every bribe, every dirty cop. He built a network, not of allies, of assets. His control tightened. Then, a revelation, cocaine, pennies in Medellín, fortunes in Miami, 100-fold profit. One dealer scoffed. America, impossible. Escobar made it reality. Restrepo stood in his path. Restrepo was eliminated. Escobar seized his roots, his destiny. This was no mere drug operation. This was an empire, the Medellín cartel. He owned the planes, the airstrips, the hidden labs, the private ports. He taxed rival gangs. For passage, for protection, $60 million a day. In cash, too much to count. It was weighed. Hundreds of millions buried across Colombia. Billions lost to rot, to rats. He built homes. He funded football fields. He constructed schools for the poor. A Robin Hood for Wade. It bought loyalty, a human shield, witnesses, supporters. These new buildings. Many were secret bunkers. Cocaine stashed in the foundations. A mass murderer, seen as a savior. Ambition led him higher. He became an alternate congressman. 1982. Justice Minister Rodrigo Lara exposed his criminal past. Escobar retaliated. Lara was machine-gunned, dead. That single act, it brought the full might of the United States to Colombia, to Escobar. He declared war. A terror campaign. Avianca Flight 103 exploded. 107 dead. The Supreme Court attacked. 11 judges murdered. Presidential candidates, judges, police officers, all targets. He started a death lottery, randomly executing policemen every single week. He negotiated no extradition. A self-built prison, La Catedral. It was a palace, a private bar, a party room, women, weapons, a command center. He ran his empire from within. The government finally realized. They tried to move him, but Escobar always had an exit, a tunnel. He simply vanished. Then came a new enemy, Los Peps. Their method was absolute. Not just Escobar, his family, his relatives, his contacts, his friends, systematically eliminated. His secrets, his hideouts, his every move, all leaked, with chilling precision, a betrayal from within his own ranks. Someone traded Escobar's life for their own. American technology joined the hunt. The CIA, the NSA, their Centra spike system. It turned the airwaves into a cage. Phone signals, radio transmissions, tracked with 100-meter accuracy every call he made, every word to his family. Each one narrowed the net. December 2nd, 1993. A final call to his son. 14 minutes. Too long. The NSA had the coordinates. The search block moved. Pablo and a bodyguard leaped across rooftops. The bodyguard fell. Dead. Escobar? Cornered. Shot in the leg. Then the chest. A final bullet. Through his head. 3 hours 15 minutes and 47 seconds p.m. Barefoot. On a stranger's roof. His reign was over. 25,000 mourned him. The Colombian government declared victory. But the triumph was hollow. Within weeks, his empire was absorbed. Carved up by rivals, the drug trade didn't shrink. It exploded. The DEA declassified files. The true betrayer, not an outsider. One of his closest sicarios, fear. After Escobar's brutal murder of 2 subordinates, he sold everything to Los Peps, to the government. Those final family calls, the pursuit team already knew. They were waiting. The walls closed in. La Catedral, his gilded prison, shattered. A crudely dug tunnel became his phantom limb to freedom. He was out. He was free. But now, truly hunted, no longer protected. Panic surged. A digital red alert blared across intelligence dashboards. The government, enraged, unleashed a deluge. Then the shadows moved. Los Peps, ghostly, ruthless. They struck with brutal, surgical precision. Every safe house compromised. Every loyalist eliminated. Every family member a target. A systematic dismantling. Chaos reigned. Escobar's empire bled. Who knew his secrets? Who was feeding them? A cold dread, the gnawing fear of betrayal. The hunt intensified. American technology joined the fray. CIA, NSA. Their centrous spike system hummed. An electronic predator. An invisible net tightened. Every phone signal. Every radio wave. A digital whisper echoing his location. Within 100 meters, the world shrank. A glitch in the fabric of his control. He was trapped, unseen, unheard, yet constantly tracked. His own communications, a deadly leak. He clung to family, his son, a desperate, risky call. 14 minutes, too long. A fatal vulnerability. The coordinates flashed. Red alert. Search block converged. Rooftops. Gunshots ripped through the humid air. His bodyguard fell. Dead. Escobar scrambled, a cornered animal. Bullets tore into him. Leg. Chest. He staggered. One final, brutal shot. Through his head. 3 hours 15 minutes and 47 seconds p.m. December 2nd, 1993. Barefoot. On a stranger's roof. The king was dead. His empire crumbled. Victory declared. But the drug trade, it did not cease. It merely shifted. It swelled. The floodgates burst wide open. Years later, the truth emerged. Declassified files. The ultimate leak. Not some grand external enemy. A trusted Sicario. One of his own. Fear for his life. He sold every secret. Every hiding place. Every desperate family call. A Judas in the inner circle. The flood of information. The relentless spread of his vulnerabilities. It all led to that final, fatal phone call. The man who challenged an entire government. Undone by a whisper. A glitch in his own, meticulously built, but ultimately flawed, design. The world closed in. Every secret, every move, now exposed. A new, terrifying enemy emerged from the shadows. Los Peps. Their methods were brutal, their reach surgical. They targeted Escobar's network. His family, his closest associates. Their intelligence was unnervingly precise. Someone was talking. Someone within his own trusted circle. But another hunter was also on the move. The full might of the United States, CIA, and NSA, their weapon, technology, centrous spike, a silent, digital snare. This system tracked phone and radio signals, pinpoint accuracy, within 100 meters. Escobar was building a cage around himself with every call, every connection to his dwindling world became a beacon, a deadly beacon. The pressure mounted. Days turned to hours. On December 2nd, 1993, the net tightened irrevocably. Escobar made a call to his son. It lasted 14 minutes, too long. The NSA pinpointed the signal. Coordinates relayed. Instant transmission. Colombia's elite search block moved in. Fast, relentless. They stormed the house. Escobar and his bodyguard, Alvaro de Jesus Agudelo, scrambled onto the rooftops. A desperate dash for freedom. Agudelo fell first, shot. Escobar was cornered. A hail of bullets. One struck his leg, another his torso. He fell. Then, the final shot, through his head. It was 3:47 p.m. Pablo Escobar, the man who defied governments, lay dead, barefoot, on a Medellín rooftop. 25,000 people attended his funeral. Colombia's government declared victory, a monumental win against a narco-terrorist. But the triumph was hollow. Within weeks, Escobar's drug routes were absorbed. His empire divided amongst rivals. Drug trafficking didn't diminish. It surged. The war continued. Years later, declassified documents revealed the final, devastating betrayal, the source of Los Pep's terrifying accuracy. It wasn't just happenstance. It was a man, a sicario, one of Escobar's most trusted. He feared for his own life. After a particularly brutal execution ordered by Escobar, he made a choice. He became the ghost. He fed every detail to Los Peps, to the government, every hideout, every contact, even those final, fatal calls Escobar made to his family. They weren't just monitored, they were anticipated. A carefully laid trap, sprung by a desperate insider. After La Catedral, there was no hiding. Pablo Escobar, once a demigod, was now a cornered animal. The world shrunk around him. He built a fortress, but lived in a prison of his own making. Then came Los Peps, an unknown enemy. They struck with chilling precision. They knew his every move, his every contact. His family, his allies, his empire, dismantled brick by brutal brick. Their intelligence was impossibly accurate, a phantom force, hunting a ghost. The net tightened further. American technology joined the hunt. CIA, NSA, Centra Spike, an invisible cage. Every phone call, every radio signal, pinpointed within 100 meters. His family, once his strength, became his gravest vulnerability. Each connection a beacon in the dark. December 2nd, 1993, a last, desperate act of a father. He called his son. A 14-minute conversation. Too long, far past the point of no return. The coordinates flew across the globe. The search block moved. Rooftops of Medellín, a frantic escape. Pablo and his bodyguard, scrambling. Gunfire erupted. His protector fell. Pablo, trapped, a shot to the leg, another to the chest. The final bullet, through his head. 3 hours 15 minutes and 47 seconds p.m. Barefoot on a stranger's roof. The king of cocaine. Fallen. 25,000 mourners. A dark legend laid to rest. Colombia declared victory. The U.S. government, triumphant. Justice, it seemed, had been served. But the victory was hollow. Within weeks, Pablo's roots, his network, consumed by rivals, the flow of cocaine. It didn't stop. It swelled. The war on drugs, far from over. A hydra, one head cut off. Two more grew. The truth, years later, emerged from declassified D-files. The secret behind Lospep's uncanny intelligence. The source of the coordinates. It was not a grand conspiracy. It was a single, terrified man. A close Sicario, fearing Pablo's wrath after a brutal purge. He traded every secret, his life for the king's. The final calls, the ones to his family. Not a moment of peace. Each conversation a betrayal. Delivered to the hunters. The man who challenged an entire government. Undone by his own creation. His empire. His fear. His trusted circle. A tragic end. For a man who sowed so much terror. The cost of ultimate power. Paid in blood and solitude. The ultimate consequence. Poverty was his birthright. A harsh teacher. He saw the world wasn't fair. The system, he learned, could be bought, not avoided. A revelation. He started small. Extortion, theft, then cocaine. A commodity that promised more than wealth. Power. He built an empire, not just of drugs, but of desperate hopes. A twisted Robin Hood, offering homes, schools, football fields. To the forsaken, he was a benefactor, a promise of a better life. Even as his orders brought unimaginable death, his wealth piled high. So much, it rotted underground. Eaten by rats, by time. A golden cage, La Cathedral, built by his own hand. A delusion of control. But the walls closed in. The hunters became the hunted. Every secret betrayed. Every loyalist, a potential traitor. Every call, a beacon in the dark. A father's desperate voice. One last connection to his son. A final, fatal embrace across phone lines. He died barefoot. On a stranger's roof. Not a king, just a man. The empire crumbled. But the flow of drugs, it never stopped. A haunting, human reflection. On ambition, on despair. His name still chills. Pablo Escobar. A man who forged an empire from corruption and cocaine. He saw poverty, then saw profit. He learned systems could be bought. He turned ruthlessness into strategy, murder into business. He built mansions, airstrips, entire networks, all funded by a deadly white powder. He gave to the poor, yet slaughtered the innocent. A false hero, a true tyrant. He declared war on his own government, and the world watched. His defiance brought terror, assassinations, bombings. He built his own prison, a fortress of impunity. But even kings fall. Betrayal, technology, and relentless pursuit closed in. A final phone call. A thread of hope became his undoing. He died on a rooftop, defeated. But his dark legacy persisted. The drug trade, ever evolving, never truly stopped. This is the warning. Power unchecked, corruption embraced. The fight against such forces is eternal. Our resolve must be stronger.